Las Vegas Raiders, meet your new defensive coordinator. His name is Gus Bradley. That's right. The Chargers' former defensive coordinator will be heading to Las Vegas as their new defensive coordinator. He spent the last 4 seasons with the Chargers. He became available when head coach Anthony Lynn was fired a week ago. He plans to keep defensive line coach Rod Marinelli, but will consider bringing some of his former Chargers colleagues with him. And this was written by Adam Maya. He's an NFL.com digital content producer. So, Mario, I'll start with you first. What do you think of this?
I'm going to be honest. I don't like this move. I don't like Gus Bradley going to the Chargers. It doesn't make sense for a defensive coordinator of one team to go to a defensive coordinator for the other team who are both behind kind of after the top 20 in defense. It doesn't make any sense. He probably got more money from the Vegas Raiders, which might be a reason, but that's the only reason I could see why the Las Vegas Raiders accepted Gus Bradley. That's the only reason I could see. Other than that, this just don't make any sense.
Yeah, man. I was kind of like, the Chargers defense was stepping up and all that, and I was thinking about how he was doing overall with the team, and I'm gonna be honest, he was average. Because I don't know, the problem with the Chargers was that they had a great offense, they had a good defense, but just like the Falcons, they just started blowing games and just the cylinders weren't clicking, I guess you could say. And obviously, like I said, there's blame going around anybody, and Gus Bradley isn't he isn't an exception to that. So with that said, not to mention this Raiders defense was supposed to be very elite, and I think at times it really was. But the problem with it is that the problem with what I just said was that it was at some point. That's the problem. You gotta stay consistent with that. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I'm not so sure how he's gonna deal with the Raiders, to be honest. I mean, obviously, of course, I wish him the best of luck in the Raiders.
Absolutely, me too.
I don't know, man. Like, this got me feeling just like how Dan Quinn's gonna be with the Cowboys. I just don't know how it's gonna work.
But I want to say Dan Quinn was a lot different because Dan Quinn, as a defensive coordinator, has a very good history. Obviously, he was coaching the Legion of Boom. He has a very good history as a defensive coordinator. The difference between that and Gus Bradley is because as we're looking at experience from his defensive coaching, it wasn't that great this year. I think maybe last year or the year before, I believe like maybe a couple years ago when Joey Bosa and Derwin James were playing full time for the Chargers, I believe that was a very good Chargers defense. But other than that, I just don't think Gus Bradley has enough positive or upside from his experience with the Chargers for this to make sense that the Raiders took him. Yeah. Is he better than the last defensive coordinator that they had? Yeah, probably. Probably. But it's an improvement, but it's not the improvement that I would like to see. If I'm the Chargers, I would have been looking at secondary coaches, linebackers coaches, defensive line coaches. I would have been looking at these types of coaches who coach these positions and who did a very good job with defensive position. For example, when the Rams secondary coach ends up going for interviews, that's going to be a big target for defensive coordinator and head coach because you've seen what he did for the Rams secondary. You know how good they are, You look at defensive line, like the Tampa Bay defensive lines coach, that's another good guy to look at. These are guys who made a position, completely transformed into something spectacular and something dominant and could be great defensive coordinators. But this right here, this just don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe he will do good in Las Vegas. Maybe we won't. Only time can tell that. So with that said, congratulations to Gus Bradley in the Las Vegas Raiders.